If you have just launched ads on YouTube, or maybe you've had ads running for a while and you are not using a YouTube expert, then you need to make sure that you haven't fallen into the trap of targeting the wrong audience. So before you do anything else, make sure that you identify who your target audience is. We have had clients in the past that come to us saying that their target audience is one thing, and then actually we have uncovered that their target audience is something completely different. So when you work with S.media, we would always start by doing a customer profiling session before we do anything else, so that we can understand who your audience is and uncover a bit more about what they like, and just more about the audience itself. If you fail to do this and you fail to identify your target audience, that could lead to a lot of wasted spend and a lot of poor engagement. So you want to make sure that you are identifying your target audience before you start.
So one mistake that you could be making when it comes to promoting your videos on YouTube is actually valuing optimization over quality content. So let's say you've uploaded a video and it's not got as many views as you had hoped. You might be thinking, well, maybe I've not optimized it properly, maybe I've not researched the right keywords, maybe I've not used enough keywords in the description. Now, sometimes this will be the case, other times it won't be. And the reason for that is because we say quality content triumphs over everything. If someone clicks on their video because they think it's something they will like, because you've optimized for keywords, and they click on it and they don't enjoy it because the content itself is not that good, then that's why you are not getting views. So our advice would be to make sure that your video is actually good and it actually provides value to the viewer over optimizing it with keywords.
So if you don't have a strategy, that is the number one mistake you must not make. You really need to have clear objectives and a clear strategy for what you want to achieve. So are you trying to get more subscribers to your channel? Are you going to try and increase conversions? Do you want to increase watch time? All these things play an important factor in when you map out your strategy. So because along the way, when you get going with the YouTube campaign, which can normally take between 6 to 8 weeks to learn, you can then stop and pivot or replicate things along the way, depending on what you've learned from your audience. And it's no good going about a campaign without a clear strategy. And that is one of the most important things that you do in the very beginning.
One of the mistakes people make is actually tracking the wrong metrics. Quite a lot of the time, because it's YouTube, people like to think about likes and comments and views, when actually by getting sucked into the wrong metrics, you're not focusing on what your objectives are for the campaign. So before you do anything, make sure that you lay out what your objectives are for the campaign, and then you'll be able to track these easily. So I also don't like getting caught up in the number of views and the number of clicks from your YouTube ad. I want to focus on what your conversions are, how many conversions you're getting, what your conversion rate is, and also what is your return on ad spend, because these are the most important figures. Are you meeting your objectives? So you need to lay out what your conversion is, obviously, before you start. You know, is it that someone is downloading something on your landing page? Are you actually wanting them to buy a product? And then we can work out the conversion rate and the return on ad spend. But I think for me, these are the 3 most important metrics that you need to be focusing on. Do not focus on views, likes. You know, likes and comments is obviously more organic to YouTube rather than YouTube advertising. So just focus on your objectives, and then from there work out what the metrics are that you want to track.
Another mistake that people often make when it comes to promoting their videos on YouTube is writing titles specifically for SEO rather than what people are actually looking for. Now, writing titles when it comes to blogs and articles and things like that, keyword dense titles is a good idea. Now, YouTube doesn't really look at that. It is a part of it, but then if the title isn't going to interest the viewer or interest whoever's researching something, then they're not going to click on it. And click-through rate is a massive metric on YouTube that you should be tracking. And now if you see that yours is falling behind, then it might be worthwhile to start writing your titles a little differently and a little bit more interesting so people actually want to click on them.